I'm Nigeria, and our group is doing classification of fungal diseases and characteristics of protozoans with medical significance. Fungi is classified based on its reproductive strategies and the spores they produce. So as you can see from the reproductive structures, they all differ, and aside from the Zygomycota and the Basidiomycota, those two are sexual reproduction, as well as Chytridiomycota because it can do both asexual and sexual. But the Ascomycota and the Glomeromycota, those only do asexual reproduction. And as you can see from their ecological roles, a lot of them are similar. The only two that are different are Zygomycota and Chytridiomycota. They don't form those symbiotic relationships, meaning they don't have other organisms help them essentially survive, and vice versa. The Chytridiomycota, they're parasites, so they just take from their host selfishly, if you will. And then Zygomycota, they're saprophytic, meaning it's just nutrients from dead or decaying matter, so you don't necessarily need to form those relationships. And in terms of phylum, these are the major phylum categories, but there are many others, and then there's an honorable one, Judomycota, and it's only used for fungi that have unknown or absent sexual reproduction phases, so they're sometimes termed as imperfect fungi.
Hey everyone, my name is Emma Fisher, and we'll be talking about the characteristics of fungal diseases. Let's start with the definition. Fungal diseases are infection caused by pathogenic fungi that manifest through symptoms like lesions and decay, and often thrive in moist environments and can spread through spores in plants. The causative agents are mostly yeast. They are single-celled fungi and molds that are multicellular fungi. Fungal diseases can reproduce both sexually and asexually. Asexual reproduction through fungi, this often occurs through the production of spores, which are released into the environment and can germinate under suitable conditions. Common asexual structures include cognia, sphagnum spores, and budding yeast cells. Sexual reproduction, this is typically involves the fusion of specialized sexual structures leading to the formation of sexual spores. Different fungal species can have various mating types of structures, such as Ascia in Ascophysis or Acylid in Bacillid semites, which felicitate genetic recombustion. The method of reproduction can influence the spread and severity of fungal diseases. Some symptoms of these diseases include like a skin rash, itching or lesion, respiratory issues like cough and fever, or even general systematic like weight loss. How they are transmitted through each other, through plants, it can be through spores that are released into the air. For animals and humans, it can be direct contact with the infection. Or like individuals or the surfaces, and vectors like insects as well. The environment fungi diseases typically go for or are provided with are warm and humid environments, areas like poor air circulation as well. This image down here in the bottom right, it just shows the characteristics of plants and fungi and animals and pretty much what all they include. It's going to reveal how fungi interacts with their hosts, how they invade and spread, and how environmental factors influence these processes. This knowledge helps in developing strategies to prevent and manage disease effectively. And then our next one, we're going to talk about just some of the symptoms, resistance, and examples in humans, in animals, and in the fungi as well. In humans, it's going to be this top right disease. It's called Candida albicans. It primarily infects humans, causing a yeast infection. Symptoms are like athlete's foot, which causes itching, redness, and peeling of the skin. Resistance that is developing is some strand of the disease has developed resistance to the antifungal medication. So hopefully they're working on some new one as well. In animals, it's going to be the bottom left. It's going to be the purple one over here. This is an example of a Microsporum canis infection, and it's explicitly in cats and dogs, causing ringworm. It is transmitted by Malassezia pachydermis. It can be transmitted through direct contact or contaminated surfaces, leading to skin infection in pets. Some of the symptoms are ringworm infections in cats and dogs. These will lead to the circular patches of hair loss and skin lesion. In plants, it's going to be this bottom right one, which has the deeper blue color. This is an example of Fusarium oxysporum affects specific crops like tomatoes, causing Fusarium wilts. A symptom can be like a late blight caused by the Filtoria infestation, results in dark lesion on the leaves and stems of potato and tomato plants. Some environmental conditions they thrive in is a high humidity, and it causes gray molds on the fruits and the flowers. Thank you so much.
Protozoans are unicellular eukaryotes, just meaning that their entire body is composed of a single cell. Now, the photos that you see are various types of protozoans in many different shapes and sizes. They are found in the various habitats, which could be in soil, water, and something you may not have expected, in the human body. In this photo on the right, the digestive tract is highlighted because there's a protozoan parasite named Giardia lamblia that infects the small intestine and causes giardiasis. There are many other forms of protozoans that may affect different parts of the human body, but that's a later topic. Most protozoans are heterotrophic, getting their food from other organisms. They're able to survive off of what we see on the bottom of the slide, which are yeast, fungi, algae, and bacteria. Now, when it comes to the reproduction, I find it pretty cool that protozoans can reproduce both sexually and asexually. It really just depends on the species. Now, to the right of the slide, there is a diagram showing how protozoans produce asexually. This is through different processes. It could be binary fission, budding, or multiple fission. While sexual reproduction is usually through a process called conjugation. As I said before, the type of reproduction really just depends on the species.
Now that we have discussed the characteristics of protozoans, we are now going to dive in the life cycle. The life cycle of protozoans includes two phases, the trophozote phase and the cis phase. The trophozote phase is also known as the mobile trophozote phase, because when protozoa are active, they are feeding, growing, and reproducing. The cis phase is also known as the resting cis phase, because when protozoa are dormant, they are resisting harsh conditions. Okay, an example. To better understand this process, we are going to use protozoas that inhabit intestines as discussed earlier. So within intestines, the protozoan exists as a trophozoite, and there it is growing and multiplying. Then it develops into a cyst when it is exited through the feces. And in some cases, it is developed into a oocyst, where they are formed during sexual reproduction and they characterize coccidia and other related organisms.
There are many different characteristics of protozoans with medical significance. One of these, most prominent, is virulence, which promotes protozoal colonization in hosts and can include the ability to contact and adhere to the host cells, some of which utilize special features such as mucus and adhesin proteins, the ability to invade host cells, including some with the unique ability to use enzymes to degrade and penetrate the host plasma membrane, allowing for genetic material and to be copied and the parasite to spread, to compete for nutrients. Some have various other enzymes to kill off the competition. They also have the ability to resist innate and adaptive immune defenses, and including they can modify their own surface antigens to hide incognito from the immune system targeting of the host. And they also, some can use specialized features, including cilia, flagella, and other protein fibers such as actin and microtubule blobs or things that they can endocytose for motility and or virulence, according to Nagoba and Pachare in 2020. Additionally, some of the most important medically significant protozoans are the kinetoplastids of the Trypanosoma genus. They can cause African sleeping sickness, and another species can also cause Chagas disease in Latin America. And they are thin, worm-like critters, as you can see here on the magnification slide, and they can result in a circular infectious pattern, as you can see in the image of the person there, as well as the genus Leishmania, which can be responsible for both cutaneous and visceral leishmaniasis, according to the Turkish article cited here in 2021. And this is an example of what that can look like in a human host. Additionally, this is a table of some of the most common and medically significant protozoans of the Plasmodium, Toxoplasma, Pneumocystis, Trypanosoma cruzi, Trypanosoma gabinzi, and Trypanosoma rodinzi, and Leishmania donovani, and Leishmania tropica. And some of the vectors, many of these protozoans are transmitted through a arthropod or secondary mammalian vector, including mosquitoes for Anopheles, for trophocytes and monocytes and red blood cells, or even the tsetse fly found through the Trypanosoma gambinzi and Trypanosoma rodinzi species.
This is Esther Garvin, and I will be presenting the Christian worldview.
Microorganisms, like all of creation, play an essential role in maintaining the balance of life on Earth. Genesis 1:31 reminds us that God created everything and saw it was good, which includes these tiny organisms. From a Christian perspective, we see microorganisms as part of God's intricate and purposeful design and creation. While some cause disease, many contribute to life processes such as decomposition, nutrition cycling, and even digestion. This understanding gives us a deeper appreciation for the complexity and beauty of life at all levels. From a Christian worldview, healthcare is seen as a calling to serve others in their time of need, reflecting the compassion of Christ. As it says in Matthew 25:36, "I was sick and you looked after me." This verse speaks directly to the responsibility we have in caring for those who are sick and afflicted by diseases caused by microorganisms. Ethical considerations in preventing the spread of infection and treating diseases align with our faith in protecting and helping others. And here are our references.